Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? Okay, so it looks like a lot of recounting taking place, but I'm not sure the results of a recount are going to make that much of a difference. You're going to see some seat changes already happening now, but not enough to change the fact that the Sawdust movement does control a bulk of the parliamentary. Still some issues. We'll get into that here in just a second. Hey folks, just a quick reminder that back in 2008 and 9, a lot of people lost all of their retirement savings in their 401ks and IRAs because they did not own gold and silver. Yeah, that's right. Gold and silver protects you from a market crash. So do yourself a favor, protect your retirement by purchasing gold and silver. You can go to moneymetals.com, reach out to them, and they will help you set yourself up to protect you and your family from having to start all over from scratch. If you're a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and they will send along with your order a free half ounce of silver. So folks, do yourself a favor, head on over to moneymetals.com and protect you and your family from a market crash, as well as inflation. And hopefully you're getting over there soon. We've seen a nice little bump anyways, both in gold and silver. Will it continue? We'll find out. So if you're thinking about buying gold and silver, once again, go to moneymetals.com. Make your purchase there. The link is down below in the description. For those of you looking for my address, there it is right here. And you guys know I have this alternate website. We're going to be putting a bunch of original content on there. We are filming at the present moment. I know you're going to enjoy it. So what is going on in Iraq? Wow, look at this. Congrats to William Shatner, Captain Kirk, on this historic flight to the stars. You know what? The funny thing is, I can't think of a better person to go up there after decades of watching Star Trek and him being I don't know, man, definitely an icon in my lifetime. That as soon as you see him, you know exactly who he is. We affiliate him with, Star Trek right away, Captain Kirk. So congrats to Captain Kirk, who is in space. A legal expert determines the authority responsible for approving the recount and manual counting. The news goes on to say the party responsible, according to the law, for approving the recount and manual sorting of all stations in the country. So there was a statement made that there are many appeals before the judicial body formed under the law of commissions, which reach more than 8,000 boxes, and there are more than 3,000 complaints submitted to the Board of Commissioners. And the judicial body formed under the law of the Tripartite Commission cannot decide to recount. Sorting is complete throughout Iraq. Not even the Board of Commissioners, as there is no legal text that allows this. However, these bodies are restricted to deciding on the complaints and appeals submitted to them. He continues, since the House of Representatives does not exist and was dissolved, the one who can take the decision to recount and sort manually throughout Iraq is the Council of Ministers after knowing the results of the manual counting of the purified stations, which the Electoral Commission has initiated. Which is the Council of Ministers after making this decision, the matter is referred to the court to have its final say based on Article 93, Paragraph 3 of the Iraq Constitution, and as it happened in 2018. He pointed out that the defining boundaries in the matter is the results of the contested funds, and also that there were forms in the stations in which the verification devices were disabled. Wow. And the problem is that the government is now caretaker and may not be able to move much, but the federal Supreme Court remains the decisive factor in this matter. Yikes, man. Hopefully they have better luck than we did. I watched our president get denied his constitutional due process. He wasn't even allowed to show evidence that there was an issue with our elections over here. So hopefully they'll have better luck over there. So Al-Kademi met with Ms. Plassart from the United Nations to talk about the election. So the Prime Minister on Wednesday met with Ms. Plassart. There was a statement to the news during the meeting, a review of the entire electoral process that took place on the 10th of October and the progress of completing all its aspects. According to the statement, the Prime Minister valued the participation and support that the Iraq elections received from the international observers and the United Nations. So Ms. Plassart offered Al-Kademi My congratulations on the successful implementation of the elections and praised the logistical and security plans put into place by the government, which had a positive impact on the smoothness of the electoral process and the success of its conduct. So, good job, all. So far, so good. But as you can see, there are some complaints. I'm not sure what it's going to amount to, but we will see. Baghdad Operations announces its plan to commemorate the Prophet's birthday. Finance decides to restructure Refidian Bank. So, an official source of the Ministry of Finance revealed that the ministry has restructured Al Refidian's bank as part of the reforms it is undertaken in the white papers. The source, who preferred not to be named, told the news the Ministry of Finance is currently working on restructuring the Refidian Bank, which is represented by several measures, including the separation of the bank's board of directors from the Ministry of Finance and the introduction of the technical system instead of the current system used. So it's going to take about 2 years for this next phase to happen. So the Prime Minister advisor, Sule, revealed today the completion of preparing the draft budget for the next year, 2022, and calculating the price of barrel at a rate of $50 per barrel. I think that's really a safe bet. You know, when you have the IMF and them making comments like the energy prices dropping at the beginning of next year, $50 is really safe. Let's hope that it continues at the pace that it currently is at. This would allow Iraq to recover and rebuild much quicker. That's what we want to see, more private sectors being built, and they seem to be doing it at a pretty good pace. Soleil said that the budget for the year 2022 has been completed, but it was not discussed in the Council of Ministers because the government is not in process of conducting business. And it is one of the draft laws, noting that the budget will be presented to the next government and its observations will be confirmed on it. Then it will be transferred to the House of Representatives. It is expected that it will take time to pass until the formation of the new parliament, which is expected. The Ministry of Finance has said, according to the next budget, $50 per barrel of oil, and the rest was considered as a hypothetical deficit that will be repaid from the difference in the rise in oil prices, noting that the new government will have a government curriculum that may agree with the budget or not. And in the event of a delay in its approval, we will adopt one of the financial management laws, one of 12. He said, in a related matter, raising the level of the economy depends on the volume of investment projects. As the more it increases, the more the employment rate rises and the income improves. The most important obstacle is that the volume of investments in Iraq is weak and the budget is absorbed by the operational part. Well, right now they're weak, but if they continue to be a safe, secure location, I don't think they're going to have problems with outside investors. The activation of the public-private partnership law is presented to the House of Representatives, and it is activated. Many state projects will turn to partnerships with the private sector or foreign companies, and this will improve the economy in various fields. And there will be a large business movement. Yes, that's what we want to hear. And he indicated that the model of laws exists in the world, and there is a global statistic indicating that 28% of the world's investments are from this type of partnership, noting that Iraq needs a partnership in implementing projects to move its economy and vaccinate it with major companies and global expertise. One, to move its economy and vaccinate it. I don't know if I'd use those choice of words, just saying. The economy will recover during the next 5 years, and crude oil production will exceed 6 million barrels, explaining that the Iraqi economy will coexist strongly with the cycle of the oil assets as global demand for the hydrocarbons will increase with the high rates of growth in the global economy and the entry of the epidemic represented by the RONA pandemic. So here's my thing. So if most of the world is shut down, if they open up everything, you get past all this phony baloney, then as you can imagine, of course you're going to see a boom. And that means everywhere. So these people are talking about how bad the economy is. If you want to recover it, just open up the economies and stop with this other thing. The commission set the end of this month to date to announce the results of the election. So they're going through all the proper process. They've already counted. You got to go ahead and address all the people who are filing complaints, and they're somewhere in the neighborhood of about 3,000, I think it is, which is pretty large. Once that's done, then they go ahead and settle all disputes and then announce the winners. So you can see pretty much what the breakdown is for the most part. So Sauter's Bloc has 72 seats. The Alliance Advance has 37. The State of Law, 35 seats. Kurdistan Democratic Party has 34. You can see the breakdown here. A couple of seats changed, but not that big of a deal. The results of the primary election witnessed objections from several blocs led by the Al-Fatah Alliance, which represents a popular mobilization, by registering a significant decline in new parliament according to the parliamentary results. So it looks like their representation there in parliament has dwindled down just a little bit. But that's weird because I thought Sauter was part of that movement. The International Monetary Fund expects significant growth in Iraq's economy and a decline in inflation in 2022. Heck yeah, that's what we want to see. So the IMF is predicting that Iraq's economy will improve by 10.5% next year. That's awesome. And there will be a decrease in inflation by 4.5%. This is exactly the type of thing we are looking for. This is going in the right direction. The IMF said in its annual report for the month of October on its economical outlook, which was seen by the news, the gross domestic product is expected to grow significantly, outperforming all oil-producing countries to reach 10.5% compared to the 3.6% in 2021 and the 15.7% in the year 2020, which is pretty good. The IMF added that the inflation rate in Iraq is expected to decrease to 4.5% from the 6.4%. So this is Iraq moving in the right direction. And when you want to talk about things to look for, indicators that their currency is going to grow in value, these are some biggies right here, okay? We want that to continue. This is great news, by the way. So it's looking really good for Iraq. There's a lot of good news out there. Let's get this election taken care of. Let's hope that the right people get into power and continue what it is that Al-Kadhimi has started. I like to see Al-Kadhimi get appointed and get back in there and continue his great work, but we will soon see. Anyways, hit the thumbs up button if you're not a subscriber. Please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I surely do appreciate it. And I'll catch you later. I'm out.